For me, coffee is culture. It's conversation. Wherever there's coffee, there's a conversation. It comes from all over the world. It's not done the same and from one region to another. So it's different than most beverages because you have to sip it very slow. So you have to have a nice, deep, long conversation with whoever you're sitting next to.
The best conversations, in my opinion, are over a cup of coffee. And so what's exciting is knowing that like whatever I'm delivering to them, I know that like good things are generally going to come from it, whether they're studying, getting work done, being productive, having good conversation. Like people generally don't get a cup of coffee and go and do like really bad things.
Customer service industry, food service industry, like it is about building relationships. And I guess with coffee, like especially local coffee shops, like it's very personal. There's time to have a conversation, like it's a very deep, vulnerable, like, you know, open with a stranger, and then that becomes somebody that you see regularly and know a little bit about their life, and know a little bit about yours.
Craft coffee is paying more attention to the details that go into making a cup of coffee and kind of the little background notes that all add up to this really cool experience.
Commercial coffee is basically caffeine. It's just to get you going. It's just to add different flavors, different syrups to the coffee. So there's first wave, second wave, and third wave. Third wave is what you would consider more of the craft coffee. So coffee's not supposed to taste the same. When two coffees from different countries taste the same, there's something wrong there. So craft coffee is whatever the bean grows around. For example, if the dirt or the soil is more higher elevation in Mexico, you're going to get chocolatey, more nutty notes versus Africa. So you'll get more fruity notes, kind of like a wine. So whatever wine grows around or whatever it's been planted, the techniques, the different avenues that the roasters take, different process to wash it, natural process, honey process, just different things like that. So it's just, I guess, more of coffee at its natural form.
One coffee tree produces about a pound of coffee per season. And you buy a pound of coffee, I have 3 pounds of coffee sitting in my pantry. Like it's one tree did that, you know, each pound. And so within a week, people drink one yields, you know, of a tree. And so farmers have to like really get the most out of it and like, you know, have huge crops dedicated for coffee. And yeah, so they like make sure they're picked at the right time because they also don't all ripen at the same time. So they have to make sure they pick each one as they ripen perfectly, because you don't want to just like pick them all and be like, oh, well, this one's okay, it's like kind of there but not quite. Because especially coffee, it's going to cost more because they're putting effort into making sure they're doing it perfectly. That's going to take a lot of time, and so I think that justifies the price of coffee.
You have good pricing with commercial coffee, but that takes away the whole like morality of what I do with wanting to know that my coffee is like sustainably sourced and where I know that the farmer is getting paid. You've got these like massive coffee roasters and coffee businesses that are commercialized that they're just trying to pay the least amount of money that they can to make an insane profit. So they're like paying their farmers the lowest amount possible and they don't care like about them. And so for me, I want to know that the farmers that I get coffee from are taken care of, that they're being paid a livable, well wage, and that they like get some of the achievement that I get when I hand someone a cup of coffee.
There's some subjectivity to the perfect cup of coffee, and like my favorite shot of espresso might be a little bit different than your favorite shot of espresso and someone else in the coffee industry, just because of personal taste notes. So it's really fun getting to explore other people's palates and kind of see like where you link up and where you have differences and just get the whole experience.
They walk in, never been to a coffee shop before, and they're gonna ask the barista what should I get, and then the barista, it's like their responsibility to like make sure they're not gonna serve them something they don't like. So I think it's the barista's responsibility to like make sure that they're going to be serving the best cup of coffee for each customer, because you know the perfect cup doesn't exist universally. Like the perfect cup exists for for a specific person.
Like if you never step out of your flavor palette, you're never gonna grow in it. You're never gonna be challenged with like, I actually like fruity, light, bright coffee. I only thought that I liked dark roast. That's crazy, and then they're mind blown. And so I think it's just important to keep trying your palate and not have a distinction between beer, wine, coffee. Like it's all very similar. And so if you keep working at it, you're bound to like come to the conclusion that what you think you like isn't probably where you'll end up at.
If you have like a question that you're trying to figure out as a customer, or like something that you're not really sure why people do what they're doing, try to ask your barista. And I think people have this kind of stereotype of when they go into a coffee shop and there's like a pretentious kind of air about the barista or about the whole experience, and that can leave a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth, figuratively and literally, if they're not doing good espresso. As long as you can at least give people a better experience than commercial coffee, while being able to help them kind of see the differences and provide a good overall experience with your interaction with them, it makes them a lot more likely to come back and try it again and potentially start to develop those taste buds for like the differences between coffee and whatnot.
San Marcos it's a hands-on kind of old-fashioned town. People like doing their own thing, and so as far as like coffee culture growing, I think roasters will be more popular, more shops will be available, and people are going to want to like dive into it more.
The city of San Marcos in general is just expanding and growing all the time, and as we grow as a city and grow as a coffee community, we can try and reach that standard and once again maybe surpass someday. Who knows? You know, maybe we'll be the coffee capital of Texas or something at some point.
I see us bringing the best of San Antonio and Austin and kind of doing our own thing just because we're not a big city. But I think we could be a bridge between the two cities and kind of form like a metroplex, kind of like what the DFW area is.
I don't think San Marcos is that far away from becoming a smaller version of Austin. It is in the process of becoming a thing, and it's growing and it's new. We are in the early stages, and so it's fun to be able to see the fruit of your labor. That's coffee culture to me, is creating a space that makes people better, makes people feel heard, valued, seen, all under the umbrella of like, damn, this is a good cup of coffee.